Hello, I'm the Irish guy, and right, let's take a look at what happened in the Champions League this week. Right, let's go. By the way, lads, if you are new, hit that subscribe button. Let's get to 209 before Christmas, please. Sporting Lisbon 4, Man City 1. How? How can Ruben Amorim possibly leave after a night like this? How can he do it? How can he walk away from Sporting Lisbon with such an electric, packed, insane, monster European night? I mean, smashing Manchester City 4-1 at home with Victor Gyökeres belting in a hat-trick. I get the allure of Manchester United, obviously, but you are walking out of Sporting at the peak of your project. This would be like if Eddie Howe had chosen to walk away from Newcastle the morning after beating PSG 4-1 in the Champions League. Like, is it not more exciting to stay and see through what you can achieve? I mean, Sporting have won all 10 matches in the league this season. That is phenomenal. But on Tuesday night, they were second in the Champions League. If you can obliterate Pep's Man City at home, then you can beat anyone. Up next for Sporting is Arsenal at home, and yet Amorim will be spending that week preparing for a trip to Ipswich Town. Could Ruben not have told Manchester United to wait until the summer? I mean, it's not like they're going to have to persist with a moldy old coach like Steve McLaren, someone who is now just an expired pumpkin put out for Halloween. No, they've got a perfectly good budding young manager in Ruud van Nistelrooy, somebody who has better managerial qualifications than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer ever did. Just let him steer the ship until May, and then see what you can achieve at Sporting. Leaving them for Manchester United now, it feels like leaving the party too early. I mean, he's now walking into a massively scrutinized job, or yes, he's probably going to have journalists ringing up his ex-girlfriends and offering them money in exchange for that juicy, salacious story about the time he once pooed on the cat, or called her mum fat. Could Amorim not have waited until next summer? But look, they absolutely flattened City on Tuesday night. And yes, the success of Gyökeres is embarrassing Brighton and Swansea, but I still don't see a budding young world star. Nah, I just see the next Vincent Janssen. Yeah, a pretty competent striker who has the tools to score bags of goals in the lesser European leagues. But in the Premier League, I think he's gonna splutter and choke. He's just another Luke de Jong. This feels like the type of mega money unproven risk that Everton would have signed in 2018. He feels like such a 2018 Everton buy. The modern day Cenk Tosun. I mean, he's not even the next teenage hotshot. Nah, he turns 27 in June. The age where all the rock stars die? He is too old to be a £100 million buy for anyone. Club Brugge 1, Aston Villa 0. I am devastated for Tyrone Mings. No. It's almost like the footballing overlords are trying to poke this guy to see how much he can possibly take. Over the last 3 years, the guy was brought to Euro 2020 for England, started the first game against Croatia, a huge proud moment for the Mings family, right? Yeah, that was spoiled because football Twitter then acted like Southgate had just thrown a dead pig in a centre back. He then is a football legend and icon like Steven Gerrard. Rock up at Aston Villa and immediately humiliated by stripping him of the captaincy and questioning his attitude as a man in public. Okay, Gerrard then gets binned. Unai Emery comes in and then Tyrone Mings squishes his knee into wet jelly and he's rolled out for nearly 500 days. He finally returns in the last month and is making his proud Champions League debut, a game watched by the whole Mings family with tears in his mum's eyes, and then he cost his own side by producing, in his own manager's words, the worst mistake ever seen. Club Brugge won this match 1-0 because they were awarded a penalty after Emiliano Martinez passed the ball to Tyrone Mings and he chose to pick up the ball and try and take the goal kick himself. Lads, I'm not shocked. The football world reacted to this incredulous moment as if they were witnessing something crazy and insane. Like they just witnessed Mings give away a penalty for eating a toddler in the box, or that he was shown a red card for pulling off the striker's ear. No, lads, we are seeing this more and more and more because of this nonsense modern fad where coaches are now instructing their centre backs to take goal kicks. Lads, this is something I used to see when I was playing under 12s football, when we stuck the fat, useless kid in goal, the one who had no strength in his legs, having spent every day sitting on the couch, and because of all the ice cream and gummy bears he was eating for breakfast. I mean, that poor Tommy was 3 cheeseburgers away from contracting diabetes before his first kiss. Yeah, back then, we let our right backs take the goal kicks. Even I thought that was embarrassing at the age of 12. But nowadays, because it's so unnatural for a former Bournemouth lump to be taking goal kicks in the Champions League, there is now a mix-up. I mean, earlier this year, we saw Gabriel Magalhaes do the exact same thing for Arsenal against Bayern Munich, and the ref just let him off the hook, completely bottling the decision because even the referee was shocked. But we shouldn't be surprised that Gabriel did it for Arsenal. Nah, last night Mikel Arteta was booked for handball. Yes, the Arsenal manager wrongly picking up the ball whilst it was still in play. He really is turning into a mini Simeone. He's got more dark arts than Voldemort. Lads, a month ago, there was a game in Bundesliga 2 between Magdeburg and Greuther Fürth, where both teams gave away penalties because their defenders chose to pick the ball up in the box. This isn't about Mings having the brains of cat food. No, this bit of defeat is on modern day coaches unnecessarily causing chaos by telling their centre backs to often take the goal kicks in the hope that they will exploit the opposing team's pressing tactics, right? Well, I hope you're happy, Unai. Because of this new age hipster tactic which you've been brainwashed to use, you've successfully confused your team to defeat. And it makes sense because this tactic has only become popular inside the last year. So plumping Mings now into modern football after nearly 18 months of playing PlayStation with the cat, this is like transporting someone from 1910 into the future. They're gonna be so confused they'll think the dishwasher is a monster. Inter Milan 1, Arsenal 0. Arsenal are in crisis, right? On their last 3 away trips to Bournemouth, Newcastle, and now Inter Milan, they have lost all the matches without scoring a goal. But look, this was unfair. This was not a great match. It was a typically Italian game, full of meaty tackles, defensive organization from both. But this is just Simone Inzaghi and Mikel Arteta cancelling each other out. Neither team deserved to win. But for hacking Calhanoglu to convert a winning pen, which should never have been a pen. I mean, come on, the ball instantly rebounds up to smack Mikel Merino in the arm. But wherever is he supposed to put his arm? The ref will say it was in an unnatural position, but I am sorry. Have you ever tried balancing yourself with your hands behind your back? I mean, what? Do you want the Spanish midfielder to fall on his face, squashing his nose like a tomato? Look, it was never ever a penalty, but no, the Gunners still did not play well. They lacked any sort of creative idea in the final third, and I'm convinced how Gabriel Jesus has not become that classic number 9 that they need. Everyone has been bleating on about how Arsenal are lacking a proper centre forward. How is Jesus not yet that guy? He's 27 years old and scored nearly 100 goals for Man City in limited game time. Are you telling me that actually he's just a slightly better Kelechi Iheanacho and that he was only good for collecting goals after coming off the City bench? He is not that guy. But Arsenal, their problems run a bit deeper than Man City because they're becoming very predictable this season. I mean, Arteta's game plan for the final 15 minutes seems to be introduce Ethan Nwaneri off the bench and try and get him to recreate that one-party trick. Yeah, you know when he cut in onto his left foot and banged one top bins against Preston last week? He has since tried to do that in the final 10 minutes against both Newcastle and now Inter Milan, and skied the ball both times. Bayern Munich 1, Benfica 0. Okay, on paper, this was a battle between two prestigious European giants. But if you analyze it a little deeper, you'll see this is a managerial battle between the former bosses of Burnley and Wolves. Oh, how I wish this was Sean Dyche coming up against Mick McCarthy in the Champions League. But no, it was Vincent Kompany battling it out with Bruno Lage. And yeah, with Jamal Musiala heading in the only goal for an important Bayern win. But again, lads, I said the Germans would win the Champions League phase by getting 3 points in every match. Yeah, instead, they're currently 17th, below the team they stuck 9 goals past. Make it make sense. PSG 1, Atletico Madrid 2. So I guess this is just PSG now. This is what PSG are like in the Champions League. A side who are now in real danger of crashing out of Europe after January. I mean, as it stands, they're embarrassingly not in a position to squeak even a playoff spot. Yes, this is an alleged European super club who recently had Messi, Neymar and Mbappe. Lads, if PSG fail in the Champions League this season, it'll sort of feel like a smack in the face to the owners who are now trying to do things right. They had realized that their obsessive collection of Galacticos was not paying off, so they've now tried to concentrate on focusing on young, homegrown talent instead. But if they go out of Europe early, it's almost like they're now being punished for trying to do things properly. Here they were up against Atletico Madrid, another side who really needed a Champions League win, and PSG go ahead when homegrown star Warren Zaire-Emery chips them into an early lead. But then Nahuel Marina equalizes for Atletico, and then with PSG chasing a winner in the second half, they get caught on the break in the final minute when Angel Correa squeezes in a late winner for Atletico. Lads, whilst this normal, almost ego-less PSG side cleansed of their superstars, this really is not paying off because they're losing at home to a team with a centre-back partnership of Clement Longley and Axel Witsel. Yes, that Axel Witsel. The Belgian defensive midfielder returns 36 soon. Things are so bleak in Paris right now. After a pretty dreadful showing between the posts, the French press have now dubbed Gianluigi Donnarumma the Invisible Hand. Brings me back to sleepovers at Uncle Ned's. Real Madrid 1, AC Milan 3. Carlo Ancelotti's getting sacked, isn't he? He really is going to get the chop because managers don't usually survive losing by 4 goals against Barcelona before Christmas. Just got Julian Lopetegui and Rafa Benitez, who were both sacked within weeks. And yes, I know Ancelotti has credit in the bank, having just won his 3rd Champions League with Real Madrid alone. But he still doesn't have that I don't know, that glamorous sheen that someone like Jose would have had in 2010, which is unfair because this man has won so many trophies in the world. But let's not forget that Madrid did handpick this old man out of Everton. Football had turned its back on Ancelotti. He was deemed to be way past his best. I mean, come on, this is a serial winner who is now being given tools like Mason Holgate and Josh King. This man was only supposed to be a temporary familiar face, brought back to Madrid while they waited for someone fancy like Jurgen Klopp, right? This second Ancelotti reign was not supposed to go this well, but it has, and I still don't think the fans truly appreciate him the way they should. To them, he is still that mid-table granddad who they ripped out of Goodison Park. So yeah, I see him getting binned soon, and it's ironic. And it's his old club AC Milan, which has probably cost him his job. Slovan Bratislava 1, Dinamo Zagreb 4. Lads, has a team ever reacted better to conceding 9 goals in a single match? After Dinamo Zagreb lost 9-2 to Bayern Munich, the Croatian Giants looked like they were about to be laughed out of this competition. I mean, I wouldn't have held it against some of those players if they had retired early due to sheer embarrassment. There would have been no shame if their goalie chose to burn his gloves in a bin and started handing in resumes at Pizza Hut. No shame whatsoever. You would think at the very least that this wounded Dinamo bunch would have just been waiting for this whole Champions League season to end. No, they've since drawn at home with a quality Monaco. They beat Salzburg 2-0 away from home and have now smashed Slovan Bratislava 4-1. Against all odds, this team have actually put themselves in the conversation to sneak a playoff spot. They could actually beat Celtic at home. Oh boy. Liverpool 4, Bayer Leverkusen 0. Arne Slot. How is he doing this? Lads, Liverpool fans are squealing like upset pigs when Xabi Alonso chose to say a Bayer Leverkusen. I mean, back in May, it felt like there was only one replacement for Jurgen Klopp, and he was it. And so when this former Anfield hero chose not to take up the job, it looked like the Reds' plans were in the mud. This was Alonso or nothing. It looked devastating for the club. Yeah, fast forward to November, and Slot has just whacked Alonso 4-0. The fact that Leverkusen went 51 games unbeaten last season, the fact they rocked up to Anfield and conceded 4 in the last 3 minutes of the match. Is there any Liverpool fan out there upset at missing out on Xabi now? No, there's not a single one. And what's even crazier is that during the summer, there were some Liverpool fans who were happy to see Luis Diaz sold to Barcelona in favor of wrapping up a move for Newcastle's Anthony Gordon. Yeah, Diaz just bagged a hat-trick on Tuesday, taking his tally for the season to 9 in 15 matches. As Liverpool are now top of both the Premier League and the Champions League. Slot's start to life in this massive, hugely pressurized job is actually making me speechless. Celtic 3, RB Leipzig 1. Oh, RB Leipzig. Oh, they really could not afford to have lost this game. Lads, Leipzig are a proud German giant. Okay, actually, no, to be fair, they're actually just a German village minnow who've just drunk sugary cow steroids. But still, the fact that Marco Rose has them second in the Bundesliga, and yet they've lost every Champions League match so far. Are they trying to throw this tournament just to concentrate on winning a first Bundesliga crown? And boy, can you imagine if they win the German title? I think every German football fan's head would just explode in utter fury. Look, Christopher Baumgartner sticks them 1-0 up in Scotland, and this is a match where they needed to put some points on the board. But things literally couldn't have gone worse, because who scores 2 goals for Celtic before half-time, including a screamer from outside the box? A certain uncapped German winger Niklas Kuhn, who just so happens to have spent 3 years in the Leipzig academy before they tossed him away like a rotten egg McMuffin. You know, one of the ones where you find someone's pubes in it. Of course he scored a brace. Of course, who else was going to do it? And then Rio Hattati scores a third. What a huge mental night for Celtic. But as for Leipzig, this was an utter disaster. They're probably going to finish inside the bottom 6. PSV 4, Girona 0. Yeah, this is exactly what I expected to happen to Girona this season. Michel's surprise package of last season. They're just a one-season wonder. Finishing third in La Liga was mega weird. A bit like when Leicester City won the Premier League. But Girona, they've been pretty ugly in La Liga. Recently losing to even Las Palmas, a team with Ollie McBurney up top and Scott McKenna at the back. And yeah, even in the Champions League, they've been pretty garbage too. And so yeah, to lose 4-0 to PSV Eindhoven, to be absolutely eaten on cheese by USA international midfielder Matic Tillman, this was pretty uncomfortable to watch. Bologna 0, Monaco 1. Lads, whisper it quietly, but Monaco are having an incredible Champions League season, and nobody seems to have noticed it yet. Lads, Monaco as a club have a history of being a shock surprise package in this tournament. Like when they reached the final in 2004, and the semis in 2017. I mean, Kreisbub in 2004, they smacked Deportivo La Coruña 8-3. A Deportivo team who reached the semis themselves. And lads, so far, this Monaco side have beaten Barcelona. They've thumped Red Star and now just edged an important away win at Bologna. Monaco, they're beginning to look like this is another year where they are going to be a problem. Lille 1, Juventus 1. How are Lille so good at the Champions League? I don't understand this. I don't get it. They've now beaten both Madrid clubs and now nearly got a win over Juventus with a Dusan Vlahovic penalty having to steal the Italian Giants a point. Even after selling their mega star centre-back Lenny Yoro, they're even better without him. Feyenoord 1, Red Bull Salzburg 3. No, Feyenoord, no! You are blowing this. After recovering from an opening night 4-0 loss at home to Bayer Leverkusen, Brian Prisk's team then recover to blow away both Girona and Benfica away from home. Amazing European nights, but here, they've blown it, losing 3-1 at home to Red Bull Salzburg, with Arne Slot's successor getting tactically eaten by Jurgen Klopp's former pet. I mean, this is a match which has such a Liverpool theme, to such an extent that the guy who scored a brace for Salzburg was literally called Konate. I mean, how many times do you think Pep Linders has called him Abraham by mistake? Red Star Belgrade 1, Barcelona 5. Barcelona are surprisingly ridiculously good. Alright, hands up. My apologies to Hansi Flick. I thought he was a bit of a burnt out turtle after flopping as Germany boss, but to take control of a crazy, financially loony former European giant, and to have now won all but one of their opening 12 La Liga games, including crushing Real Madrid, and they've now bagged in 14 goals in the last 3 Champions League games. These are the sort of results I would have expected from Pep's Barca 15 years ago. Sparta Prague 1, Brest 2. Brest are 4th in the Champions League. 4th, despite being a bit of an underwhelming burnt picnic in Ligue 1, slumped in boring mid-table. They have begun their debut Champions League season on fire. Stuttgart 0, Atalanta 2. Yeah, pretty professional accomplished win from Atalanta. Stuttgart is a tough place to travel, and so yeah, the Europa League winners soaked the possession and broke them down with goals from Adamola Lookman and Nicola Zaniolo, wingers formerly of Fulham and Aston Villa. Bit weird to see them both crop up in the same Champions League score sheet. Yeah, good win. Borussia Dortmund 1, Sturm Graz 0. What a horribly boring match. Anyway, that is the end of the video. Let me know in the comments, what do you think? Let me know, what did you think of this Champions League game week? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a like, share, and subscribe as always. I'll talk to you in a while.